My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Hard Mode Transport Fever 2. We're starting the episode inside Portishead, just at our central exchange, passenger exchange here that we set up many episodes ago, where all our bus services and tram services congregate so our passengers can interchange and make their way around the city of Portishead. You can see the skyline in the near distance there, looking rather imposing now. Portishead really is starting to develop into something of a nice looking city, which is pleasing to see. It's also becoming quite a busy city, as we can see on the farthest platform over there. That's the station metro line that runs to Portishead station, and as you can see it is rather popular. I have added a few more trams onto that service, so they've not yet really had time to have an effect on the amount of passengers we have waiting, but hopefully soon we shall see these numbers start to drop off as more passengers are able to get picked up and taken onto their onward journeys. So for today's episode, what I'd like to do, as we were talking about at the end of the last episode, is try and get some tools supplied into West Ham, I think. Now, I've had a look between episodes as to how I want to set it up, because I've mentioned many times that I'd like to have one factory serving two towns. Some of the factories, they're quite obvious which two towns they're going to be servicing because they're quite close by. Some of them took a little bit more thought and a bit more imagination, but I think I've come up with a decent enough system, and I'll explain that in a few moments. Just off to the left there, I've just noticed we can actually see the train station there. Grand looking building that it is. And in fact, I think one of our trains has just arrived. You can see it through the doors if you're very eagle-eyed. I think I saw it move past there. But yes, let's bring up the UI. So 40 million in the bank, cash flow of just under 8 million, so things looking very healthy. Before we do press on with the setting up the tool deliveries, what I would like to do is address a comment that was made in the last episode, and it's a really good comment and something I'd not really considered. Now, Andy commented that the way these platforms are set up is actually favouring our mainline train rather than the express train that runs straight through from Nuneaton to West Ham. And that's because the express train has to come off and switch over, and that slows it down. That's absolutely right. I'd not considered that at all, and while I have extended this junction a little, as you can see, so it's not as sharp as it used to be, it still would make more sense for the express train to pass straight through on these two platforms here. So what we'll do, we'll set that up right now before we do anything else. So what we want is stop number 1 to terminal 3, stop number 2 to terminal 4, and that gives us that system. And then we want the line manager, the intercity line, and we want to remove those two waypoints, and now our express train passes through without having to jump off of the main passenger line there or there. So that should help it maintain a lot of speed. So thank you for that comment. I don't know why I hadn't thought of that. I think I was just being a bit idiotic, but it's a very true observation. So one thing I wanted to get sorted out. So thank you very much for that. Obviously any other suggestions and comments are welcome for tweaks or whatever. So yes, keep them coming. Thank you very much. Much obliged, and great idea. Now, before we crack on even further, I just want to point out this has been reworked. As we can see, I've modified the bridge and the roads into Portishead, and that's just to allow access for our freight line to pass underneath all the roads that were in this area. The delivery lines still do loop around here, as we can see them making their way down this way. One other change is I've duplicated this train here on this line, so we now have two trains running on this line, and because of that, as a consequence of that, I do believe this is now expanded. So I've also further increased the length of this train. It now carries 224, and I was monitoring this, and this does have some surplus left over just as this train arrives, so there's no slowdown in the production there, which, as we know, is quite important on hard mode to keep things flowing and keep your goods being churned out as quickly as you can. Okay, so on with the bulk of today's episode. As I said, I have made a decision about which tools factory I'd like to use, and I'm going to go for this one here outside Marlborough. and this will supply the tools to Market Raisin and to West Ham. This one will do Whitnash and Wareham. That's logical, it's quite close by. Now the only problem is Swinton and Rothbury are now going to be serviced by this tool factory here, so the tools are travelling a fair distance, but as we can see, we don't have any tool factories at the northern end of the map anywhere. They're all on this southern landmass, so there's going to have to be some long distance deliveries, and that's just the way I've opted to organise it. So pressing on then, as we see, this tool factory only requires planks for production. It doesn't require steel like this one here. Now I have worked out in my head that we're going to use this sawmill here by Nuneaton to supply the planks down here, and the wood that this sawmill requires, I'm thinking we use this sawmill here because it's a pretty nice straight connection, or perhaps this one here, either or, doesn't really matter. Either of these two, we could get a nice connection into our freight main line, and then the trains that are loaded up with the logs will just bypass this station, bypass the freight yard at Portishead, and as we can see I've started the line somewhat, not got very far, but this then would run to this sawmill here, and I think I'd have the station maybe nestled in this little wooded area, so the tracks would come in sort of this way. We'd have to rearrange these roads to bridge over the top, but that's okay. But the line would come this way, stop off here, and then it would obviously head out down this way, come through here, so we're leaving these two industries open for future connection. We'd come over the river and head down into the tools factory, at what point then we'd have another train that runs back up this way, and rather than going all the way through this and back, we could have a little spur that comes off maybe around here, bridges over the river, comes through here, bypasses freight yard, and then we're going to have to put a cargo station into West Ham as well, but we can do that quite easily, I think. And obviously because this factory would also be, sorry, this factory here would also service Market Raisin, if we did come up here and spur off, we could have a branch that heads into a freight yard that serves Market Raisin. So that's the plan as it stands. I think it should work okay. I'm not 100% committed to these lines and these factories supplying which towns I've just suggested, but for now they should work. We can always adapt the lines in the future and improve them and make changes where needed, but for now let's get this sawmill connected because that's where we need to be heading first of all. Now I'm not sure whether we'll get the tools being delivered in this episode, but we should be able to get them underway in terms of production, and that'll set us up quite nicely for a future episode to bring the tools into both Market Raisin and to West Ham. But for today, we'll do as much as we can in the preliminary works, which, as I said, is likely just going to be connecting the logging camp, whichever one we choose, to the sawmill, and then sawmill down to the machinery, so the tools factory. Okay, so let's press on with this construction. Now at the moment we're about to plough straight through these fields, which is quite unfortunate because that's going to be quite costly, and while we could afford it, there's no point spending money unnecessarily, so we are going to have to curve off a little. Don't mind this road here, that will get changed in the future, but I'd rather the road dips and wavers in favour of our train line staying straight, or well, level, not straight. Okay, that was dropping off quite a bit there. I don't think we need to do that, simply because we're going to want to bridge over this river pretty soon, and if we can have decent elevation on the approach to the river, it should make setting up the bridge a lot easier. However, I don't think we need to start the bridge this early, so let's just go ahead and throw down some earthworks there. It does look a bit odd, but we can blend it out at a later date. And then, do we want a bridge now? why not? But we don't want a stone bridge. Let's have a look at some of these here. Maybe this one would be quite nice. 75 miles per hour. So we keep decent speed. Well, we keep top speed for this sort of track anyway. And it does keep this river open for our shipping, which is important. And the bridge is fairly well elevated above the waterline, so we shouldn't have any clipping issues with our ship funnels and masts and the likes. Which, well, it doesn't affect anything, it just looks a bit daft. So there we go, that's oh, it's the same style bridge. I didn't realise that, but yes, there's our second bridge over this river. What we want to do now is, like I said, head this way. We'll probably just plough straight through these roads initially, but that's okay. They will be reworked and they'll either bridge over or tunnel underneath the rail line. Before we do any further rail work, so let's put down, not a waypoint, a signal. Not a signal either. What? No. Let's put down a cargo station. Now we want 320 meters for this, and I'm going to say we'll go for 3 tracks. How's that set up? No, let's go for 2 tracks for now. We might not need 3. In fact, no, we will. We'll need 4, because some of the tracks are going to act as a pass-through for the line that's coming out of... In fact, will it? No, it might not, because as I said, we could branch it off and spur it down here instead. Okay, we'll stick to 2 then. Just make your mind up and go with it. We're going with 2. And in terms of station positioning, I'm thinking something like this. Yep, that'll work quite nicely. It's not connected in, but we can do that very quickly. Don't really care about the size of the road for this, because no traffic is actually going to be running down here. It's just to make sure we have a connection between the two. And while we're here, we'll just rename this to Nuneaton Sawmill. Excellent. Now that we have our station, we know where our final destination is going to be for our tracks. So we know what sort of approach we need to be taking. As you can see, here's the bridge here. So if we were to come direct, straight, and then curve, I imagine the curve would scrub off far too much speed and slow our trains down. So what we might have to do is just come out a ways just a little bit before heading back in, just to give us a bit of a larger radius on the tracks, which should help maintain speed that little better. So we'll put the 2 tracks in, and then we'll put a high-speed diamond crossing, 75, can't ask for better than that. There we go. So there's no slow down on this diamond here. And now what we want to do is, as I said, we don't want that. In fact, do we even want to stay at the same height? Probably not. The line can start to drop off a little. But we want to make sure we're keeping maximum speed on this corner. We could probably come in a little tighter. But what we want to remember is, because this is the outer radius of the tracks, if we were to say put this exactly at, it might not be possible, but just before it starts to drop, so like, well, whatever. But yes, if we got it so this was exactly 75, then the inner track would then be 74, if that makes sense. So I want to give ourselves a decent speed on this, but also make sure we've got 75 on the inner track as well. Let's just come to about there. Okay, that's saying too much slope. I'm guessing that's this road here that's having a few issues. So what we'll do, we'll pause it, and I'm just going to delete this road temporarily. Obviously we will rebuild the road, but the train line certainly does take priority at the moment. Let's see, where's the bridge? Because we want to make sure We're coming in nice on the bridge. We don't want any viaducts really. How's that? That's probably going to overshoot. I think if we go there. Okay, and that's the inner track, so we know for definite this one will be 75 miles per hour. There's no doubt about that. Perfect. And then now we can just head. We could probably straight shot into the bridge actually. Let's see what it does. Okay, it builds an almighty bridge there, doesn't it? We could opt for earthworks instead, however. Now that's causing a collision here and here. So once again, we probably want to get rid of this road here. Again, it will all be relayed in due course, as well as this road here. And then we'll do the tracks and then sort out the roads afterwards. Okay, you can switch to earthworks at this point. And if we stretch it out, then our gradient change isn't too drastic. In fact, it barely changes at all if it does so. We're not going to lose any unnecessary speed there. Where's the train line? There it is. If I can just get the end node. That's the left track as well, looking at it. So make sure it connects to the left there, which it does. And as we see, there's no loss in speed. However, we are decreasing our elevation by 28 meters. I don't think there's much we could do about that, as long as it isn't too steep. And it doesn't look too bad. I mean, we're having to climb anyway, because this is raised upon a hillside, so there's nothing we can do about it. We'll just have to bear in mind that when we set our train up on this line, it's going to need to have a decent bit of pulling power when it comes to tackling this gradient here to get to the sawmill, but we can sort that out later. Okay, so before I forget, I think we should reconnect all these roads that we've just deleted. So let's get the street connections. And we'll start on from here. Not sure why it's not letting me. There we go. Now, at this point, I'll say we'll bridge over the train line. So that's climbing from 18 to 26 meters. We probably don't want to bridge that early, so we'll earthworks up to there. And we could probably drop down one notch. And still leave us with enough to put a bridge over. Let's see if we can. Or not, as the case may be. Okay, let's try this now. And if we stay level... Ooh, not quite. We can put a humpback in the bridge, though. Now I'm just trying to make sure it looks okay. There we go. Yeah, I'll take that, I think. How does it look with the catenary? Yeah, it clears the catenary. That'll work. And then we'll bring it... In fact, we'll just take that road back just a little bit farther. Like so, and then snap that in there. How does that... It looks a bit weird, actually, doesn't it? Okay. Let's see if we can do something a bit better with that bridge, because that just looked a little bit odd. How does that look? It's still... No, I'm not happy with that. Right, take that and that back. Get the road tool, and we'll put the bridge in first. And we'll go for 4 increments in elevation. That gives us a much better bridge. And then if we just connect it in from the bridge to the road, it should all be good. We'll drop to earthworks, and here we'll do the same. Or not, because I'm going to click all of the things. Just reduce that back to default. And earthworks there. There we go. How does that look? It looks a bit terrible. I'll be honest, but we've got it now. I can always play about with that off camera if I want to. Don't want to waste too much time today doing it. Okay, so the other road we need to connect in is this one here. Over, say, there. So again, we'll do the same thing. We'll put the bridge down first of all. And I'm going to go for 5 nodes of elevation there. And we want the bridge sort of like that. How does that look? Just about perfect on the clearance. And then if we just do a simple straight shot into... Nope, 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 nope. Let's try that again. If we come down like that with earthworks, all of these earthworks obviously will be blended out just to normalize the gradient a little bit. And if we come down like that, that looks fine. Let's get rid of that tree. There we go, that looks a bit better. Okay, now we did also have a road coming down here, but I don't think anything was using that road, so we can leave that one as deleted. For now, we want to continue on with our train line construction, and the next stop is the factory down at Marlborough. Although saying that, we could get the signals in place for this line, set up the line to deliver the logs, just to make a start on that. I think that's actually a decent idea, if I do say so myself, so let's do that. First of all, we're going to want signals out here. Let's go for the 4 aspect signals. First of all, we don't want one way because we've put a couple of little signals there just to bring our trains off the platforms as soon as we can. Now we want one way, and yes, we want auto signal. We'll go for 400 meters as per usual. And we'll start from... Okay, so there's the back end of the junction. So we'll start from there. And that should block in all the way to the next junction, which it has done quite nicely. And then we'll do the same here. If we get that one level, that should give us side-by-side blocking all the way down. Indeed, it does. We're going to want one more just before the diamond there. Likewise, over here, we'll have one more before this junction here. And that will clear everything through there. We need a couple over here. I've not done these ones yet. So one there and one there. And we'll have these 2 to clear the junction for any waiting trains behind. Where's our diamond? There it is. So one there. And I think we'll squeeze one more in just there. These should be straight pass-through lines, so we can do that one way and that like so. That's all blocked up already, so no need to do anything else there. So now we can head over to the lumber mill, and I think this one will be a little bit easier to connect in than this one, because we could just come straight down onto this corner here. So let's put down the station for this logging camp. So cargo station 1 track, I think for now is going to be fine. We can always expand it later manually if we need to. And we'll put it, I'm going to say there. We'll rename this to Lewis Forest. And then we want to put in the street connection to get it all activated and working correctly. There's our connection now. And then just to finish it off for completion's sake, we'll drop the line in there. That now connects. Perfect. So now we can do the tracks from here. I'd like these to keep straight just for the first while, because we're going to need a junction here. And let's go for maximum speed, 75. Like so. Now all we need to do, well, that's quite a hill there in the way, so we're going to have a tunnel through that, but we want to come in somewhere around here And we are now going to need to amend this station to include a bypass line, so our logging trains can go straight on through without interfering with the stone drop off or the brick collection trains. So let's put a bypass line in here, multi-directional, like so. I say multi-directional, I mean one way, not multi-directional at all. Anyway, and then what we want to do, in fact there's probably no need for this line to actually connect to this line. If we keep straight, we shouldn't need a diamond here because they're just bypassing, they're not actually stopping on the platform, so there's no turning around. And where's our line? There it is. We'll rework the road. I'll rework the road off camera because that's a climb. Anyway, where are we? Let's just check our elevation map here. So over here we're at 32. Down here we're at 5 meters. Okay, so we need to do some serious climbing here. So what we'll do is we'll take that off, let the game select the most suitable gradient. And what's that going to do? It's going to give us a viaduct, which do I want? It's a bit low for a viaduct. Let's swap that to earthworks. Let's pay extra for the earthworks. Yeah. Every now and then I don't mind a nice viaduct, but that was just a little bit too low to make the most sense in my mind, so. Anyway, where's our connection? There it is. Like so. Okay, I'm going to have to rework this road now because it's just the strangest road. And what we'll do is we'll have this road climb straight over both of these tracks. So get the road tool straight over. There we go. If you go straight, what will you do? Where's the road headed? So it needs to head this sort of way. Take that off. No. How's that? That's not going to work for me. Not at all. Let's try that again. Bridge pillar collision. We did have it before. There it is. How's that? That will work. And it looks a bit odd. Can we swap the bridge type? That's got no support, so I'm not sure how comfortable that makes me feel. Let's try something else. Well, yes, that's better. Should we have the same over here? Or let's try the iron bridge. No, again, you're not having any supports there, which is not great. So let's do the same thing here. There we go. That's pleasant enough. And then you're coming, not like that, you're not. You're coming this way into there. Let's upgrade these roads for you. Don't say I don't ever do anything for you, Mr. AI. And then we want to connect in to there as well. There we go. So they're all happy they've got their main connection back. We're happy we've got a line connected to the Lewis Forest. We don't have any blocking. However, the line's not going anywhere at the moment, so we need to get this brought together. So we'll do that now. Keep straight. Again, we don't need a diamond at this point because nothing's turning around on platform. It's all staying straight. And then what we can do is tunnel through alongside the existing track. Perhaps we'll just... Is that the same elevation, or can you go up a little? How does that look? About there, I think. And then you're gonna come parallel, maintaining as much speed as we can. Do we get 75? Yes. And then we'll get our second track and just bring it alongside. How are you for speed? 75 as well. And then you can run alongside for a little while, just so there's more room for you to pass one another without tripping each other up. And then, okay, we've got a signal there, so we're going to have to remove those, because at this point, this is where we're going to connect together. And again, if we can get full speed on this, I think that's as good as we're going to get, which is not bad at all. And there. And then we'll just quickly connect this together, like so, and there we go. Now we're going to need some special signal work here for this junction, so we want one-way signals there and there to protect the junction. We'll have one there. That way nothing could overhang this. I don't think anything's ever going to travel down here, but just to be safe. And then where's your nearest blocking signal there? We'll have a shorter one just here. And then we'll go to auto signal, yes, 400 meters all the way down. And then all the way back. That's not right. Where's your first? There it is. There we go, that's better. And then we want to have one there. And then we need to do the rest from here to the logging camp down there. So we'll go there. And that should fill all of those in very nicely. And there. And then we'll put a manual signal somewhere like that to act as a clearing signal for this switch here. Okay, that's all set up. So we should now be able to set up the line and get a train going. Let's unpause it. So new line. So if you go from Lewis Forest to Nuneaton Sawmill, let's make sure you're bypassing correctly here. You certainly are. Beautiful. And here, yes, beautiful. Well, you've got no choice. Perfect. This is carrying logs, so we want a brown colour. Yes, that's fine. Let's just quickly rename this. So this is logging freight, and this is heading... That's not how you spell that. This is heading from Lewis to Nuneaton. Let's just set up your instructions here. So load logs, unload logs, wait until full maximum waiting time. There we go. Of course, what we will do is when we get this train line connected down to here, we'll then amend that line. So rather than just heading straight back from the sawmill, it can actually take a load of planks down to the tool forge down here before then heading back, as I said, likely this way and connecting back in here and cutting out this loop here. Okay, enough about that. Let's get the train. Now, this is proving to be a massive workhorse. It can pull so much, as is being demonstrated by the stone freight line. And it's also very rapid in the old acceleration department. So I'm going to go with the 8E47 for this train. It is quite costly to run. An extra, well, almost an extra million, about 800,000 extra. But I think it's going to be worth it because we can really load up this train and it can handle it with ease. So let's go for cargo units. Flat car with side stakes, get your words out, man. And let's really ramp this man up. He can really take it. 200 capacity, and it still hits top speeds on all gradients. That is a beast. So that's what we'll go for. We only need one for now. 17.8 million. We can afford it, but it's still a lot of money. And I've not actually tested this line off camera, so this could go horribly wrong. Let's hope it does not. So let's put you on the line. There you go. We'll watch him come out here. Here he comes now. As I said, this train is an absolute workhorse. It can just pull whatever you throw at it, which is fantastic. So we can really burden this train, and it's like, yeah, I can take it. In fact, give me some more. I want more. I've just thought, as it stands, he's going to run all the way to Nuneaton empty before heading back. So it's going to be a long time before we see any sort of income. So what we'll do is we're going to put in a quick branch line here. Make sure we have a nice connection. Oh, no, that's not nice at all. How's that? That is better. Yes, that's better. So yes, a quick connection over to here. How does it look over there? Not the best. So we'll just do that little trick that we picked up in Canada where we bring it parallel like that and then connect it in. Don't care about the speed in all of this. This is only to get our train over here. So we'll put a signal in there. Now hopefully he's going to come this way. I bet you he doesn't. Oh, he's waiting for this train to pick up a stone load. Okay, no problem. What we're probably going to have to do is put a switch like here so we can come past the switch and then we can reverse it and it can head back. But we'll see what happens. In fact, what we'll do... Yeah, he's heading to Nuneaton. Could we reverse him? There we go. Now he should come this way. But we'll see what happens. We'll pin it and we'll keep an eye on it. But what we can start doing in the meantime is connecting this up down to the tool factory. This should be a relatively straight shot. So let's get our tracks. We want to come out level for any diamonds that we may require. In fact, you can, well, that's a bit small, but then again, we are coming in and out of a station, so we might not necessarily be going top speed at that point. Anyways, that should be okay. And then we want to come straight through here. Yes, we're going to have a tunnel. Nothing we can do about that. And then straight through there. Where we're headed now. Now we want to probably head this way through, because that then keeps this open and this open, and we can come straight down that sort of way. So what's the train doing? Is he moving yet? Why is he not moving? Oh, he's on his way now. Of course, because that was the first clearing signal for the entire station. And what we can do, while we think about it, is put a two-way signal there. Anyway, he's now on his way. Hopefully he'll take this little branch line. It looks mad. It looks, well, let's call it what it is. It looks crap, but it's going to get our train to the forest a lot quicker. And every second counts in hard mode, so yeah. Even if it looks daft, we need to do it. Anyway, let's continue on down here. So we want to be heading that sort of way. Keeping 75, perfect. And from here we can just have a nice straight run of track. Okay, you're dropping quite a bit of elevation there. Probably don't need to drop quite so much. Let's see what we can do. Can we go, say, 39 to 25? That's better. Okay, where's he going? Let's go have a look, make sure he's doing what we want him to do. Perfect. Thank you. So we can get rid of that. That's fine. This should have kicked up production now. Yes, it has. 130. So this train might be waiting a while, but that's okay. Anyway, back to this. I'd like to get this finished in this episode if we possibly can. And like I said, at least as far as the tool factory, even if we don't get any further than that today. No, that's too excessive. Let's have earthworks. However, we want to... In fact, do we need this to stay open? Maybe not. I don't think we're going to need to ship this steel by boat. Although it could be shipped up to here or here, now that I look at it. Okay, let's keep it open, just in case. So what we'll do, we'll come back to about there. Swap that out to earthworks. There we go. And what sort of elevator? We're going from 25 to 9. Let's go 25 to 12. There we go. Is that going to give us enough clearance to bridge over that road? Maybe not. Let's go 15. There we go, 50 meters. So it's quite high up. But it should mean, yes, we get a nice bridge over the road. And what we'll do is we'll stay perfectly flat. We don't want the slow bridge, however. Let's try... I don't know. How about that? That's quite nice. And it's 75 miles per hour as well, which is important. So let's double that up. There we go. Okay, it's now done that weird floaty thing. Not sure how I feel about that, so let's just get rid of it. Did not mean to delete that road there. Let's just quickly reconnect that. There you go. Oh, look, I've even upgraded it for you. Aren't you lucky? To save faffing about, we'll just go with the vanilla steel bridge, I think. We know where we stand with that one, don't we? Perfect. And then we want to go straight across the river. It does remain open and navigable to shipping. However, it does look a little bit low. But I can live with it. So that's all connected. Yep, that's all fine. Where do we want to be heading now? So if we come this way past the brickworks and then... So if we want to be coming like that way, obviously that's going to be curved, not straight, but you know what I mean. Well, that's the way we want to be heading, I think. You can now do whatever takes your fancy, basically. Not too much of an elevation change there. That's what, 5 meters, and it's over quite a distance, so our trains will be able to cope with that without any problem. And where are we headed? Well, let's put the station in so we know exactly where we're headed. So we want buildings. We can probably have a terminus station now. There's nothing else going on beyond this point. And shall we have it just... Let's put it in just there. That will do quite nicely. And this is Marlborough Tool Forge. No, Tool Factory. It's not really forge if you're using wood, is it? What do we have here? We have the Mallard, we have a rail bus, we have new coaches, we have new trucks, a plane, and a new ship. All very interesting. That is especially interesting. However, we've still got the Flying Scotsman, and I've just noticed one of the things we unlocked were carriages, which to me says we might be able to get a Flying Scotsman in right at the end of the episode. So let's quickly get these lines joined together, because I would like to see the Scotsman, and if he can run on our express line, then I'm going to be a happy chappy. So I'm just brute forcing this. I did check the speeds, it's staying 75, which is the main thing, all the way through. And I'm not even going to bother doing the signal here. I just want to get the Scotsman out. So there, fine. Let's make sure we get a nice a nice connection here though, which we do. Perfect. So now we've connected to the tool factory. So that can now run all the way down there, which in essence means our logging train could start shipping the planks down pretty soon. But enough about that. Where is our express train? There he is, or there she is, if you will. As you can see, I've now got 4 carriages, and they are all full, and we've still left a few people behind, but that's all going to change in a moment. So let's amend this train, and we'll pin that so we can keep these details open and do a comparison here. So when it's fully loaded, it's doing 62 miles per hour in 72 seconds. That's lovely. However, see, this is faster, but again, our carriages are limited to 75. So let's save the money and go for the Scotsman plus the Scotsman. You can't not have it, can you, really? So let's get it done. So here's the new carriages, BC4s. They carry 20. They're lower emission, same loading speed, much faster, and about £100,000 a year more expensive to run. So how would that do? Look at that. We're having it. He's on. He's on. The Scotsman has arrived. Now, I think, well, there's only one thing we can take a cab ride on today, I think, ladies and gentlemen, and that's got to be the Scotsman. So let's get in a nice position, and I want to be in a position where we can also see the train. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Yes, we'll have that sort of bit. So it's not really a cab ride, it's a train follow along, but that will do. So yes, we'll end it here today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, just get out of the way of the trees there. Maybe if you come, that's better. Yes, if you did enjoy the episode, please consider leaving a thumbs up down below. It does help the video and the channel. If you are new to the channel, you can also subscribe to follow along for further content. I try and release several videos per week. If you've already subscribed and you've already hit that like button, thank you. I shake you warmly by the hand. Anyway, yes, thank you very much. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves. Ta-ta for now.